Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to today's reading room. Nice to meet you once again. Today we are still reading the book Navigating the Heart. Who is Dragging You? Written by Dr. OCK SOO PARK. And don't forget, a week without reading weakens the brain. So to strengthen our brain, today let us all embark on the journey of reading and to continue from where we left off in our previous reading. Today we will start from the third story in our first chapter, which is the young son who was filled with confidence and left with the wealth. Most colleges teach students about the world of knowledge, but you cannot find an institution that teaches the world of the heart. The Bible, on the other hand, teaches the world of the heart. The prodigal son is a particularly well-known story. There was a certain rich man who had two sons, but one day the younger son came to his father and asked to receive the inheritance that his father was going to give him when he came of age. It makes you wonder if the younger brother was not asking for it. It makes you wonder if the older brother was not asking for it. Why was the younger brother asking for it? The younger son believed in his own ability. He believed that if he runs a business, he would succeed. That is why he was able to boldly ask his father for his portion of his father's wealth. "Father, there is something I want to tell you." "Okay, son, go ahead." "Give me the portion of your wealth that is supposed to come to me." "What? Even your older brother is not asking for anything." "Father, I am not a little child. I want to have my own business." "Hey, do you think doing business is that easy?" There was an argument between the father and the son, but the younger son refused to even take one step back. Since it was making the house noisy, the father just gave up and gave him the wealth. The younger son took that wealth and went to a far country, believing that he did business. When he does business with this money, he would do better than his father. He went to a new country, and everything looked amazing in his eyes. His pockets were full. On the first day, he enjoyed himself with everything he wanted and then tried to work hard on his business the following day. Because he believed in his own abilities, he thought that he would be able to do whatever he wanted. However, after spending one night at the prostitute's house, he went again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. He found himself returning there over and over again. First of all, if you set your foot in the house of a prostitute, it's hard to escape from it. You may think, "I am confident. I am not going to live like that." But once you find yourself in the situation, it's not so easy to simply remove yourself from it. As time passed, the money that the younger son brought with him was being spent more and more on the prostitute. He fell deeper and deeper into that woman and wasted his entire wealth. Many times he could say, "Okay, I am not going to go there today. I am going to plan for my business." He would make up his mind to do that. But if a prostitute were to allow that kind of a man to live, then she wouldn't be a prostitute. A prostitute knows how to melt a person's heart. Isn't that what a prostitute is? The younger son just wanted to have a little fun and then come out and run a business. But now he was unable to come out from that on his own. The next story, it's once you fall into something, It is impossible to have normal logic and actions. At the International Youth Fellowship camps, there is a Changbu Yongdun pine forest where the college students camp outdoors. A river flows alongside it, and the students go rafting there. Once, I was riding on the boat with the chairman of IYF, and I told him, "Why don't you take the raft from here? I am going into the water and will swim from here." I jumped into the river, and I didn't have any goggles on. So, with my eyes closed, I put my hand on the water and I began to stroke towards the hill. After having gone for a while, I thought I should be at the hill by now. But when I lifted my head out of the water, I couldn't see the hill. Oh, where did the hill go? I looked round and I was going in the opposite direction. I was going further down the river. I once again set my direction towards the hill and stroked with my arms. After going for a while, I thought, oh, now I should almost be there. But when I lifted my head once again, I was going in the opposite direction. This is weird. What's wrong? I thought. I looked round and I saw that this was the spot where two currents of water met, and there was a slight whirlpool where the water was flowing around in circles. That is where I had fallen in. Ah, I have fallen into a whirlpool, I thought to myself. Even though I tried to break free from it, the strong current held my body in, and I was just swimming around in circles. For a moment, I panicked. If you swim intensely, then you become exhausted quickly. But in order to become free from the whirlpool, I tried to swim out with all my strength. But I could not break free, and I was just growing weaker and weaker. I thought to myself, if this continues and I become fully exhausted, then I'm just going to drown. When I looked the other way, I saw the chairman rolling the boat and going away. I yelled out, "Chairman!" The chairman looked towards my direction. "This way! Hurry up and come here!" I yelled out. Then the chairman quickly rowed the boat back toward me. Right then I thought to myself, one should never lose another person's heart. What would have happened if the chairman heard me screaming but continued to leave? Because I know how to swim a little bit, I thought that the distance wasn't much of a problem for me. However, once I was caught in the whirlpool, my swimming abilities were useless. I had fallen into a whirlpool, and the younger son, similarly, had fallen into prostitute. Before I entered the water, just as I thought to myself, why can't I cross this river? The younger son thought, why can't I just have fun for a day? But he was dealing with prostitutes, women who know how to melt men's hearts. The younger son did not have any experience with this, so he fell into women. And the more he stayed with the woman, his pockets became lighter and lighter. Now I'd better start my business. I'd better break free from these women. He thought this way, but in reality, his actions could not break free. That is what it means to have fallen into something. If you fall into drinking, this means that you cannot just come out from drinking. If you fall into gambling, you cannot just come out from gambling. And if you fall into drugs, you cannot just break free from drugs. If you fall into women, You cannot just break free from addiction to women. Nowadays, there are a lot of people who are falling into drugs, gambling, drinking, women, and even computer games. These people struggle because they are unable to break free. But these are not the only things that people fall into. Some people fall into pride, believing in the thought that they are great. Some people fall into hatred and malice. There are times when people or person falls into a pit while he or she is walking. His first reaction is to panic, and then it becomes impossible for him to have logic or act calmly. In language, we use the term fell into gambling, fell into computer games, fell into golf, fell into women. In the same way, you may fall into a deep pit or into a deep pool of water and you can only struggle. No matter what happens, no matter what it may be, if you fall victim to something, your logic is scattered. No matter what it may be, if you fall victim to something, your logic is scattered and you can only wander back and forth. The younger son tried to break free from the prostitute, but ultimately he was unable to and eventually ran out of money. That's when the woman's attitude completely changed. Before, she was so kind and willing to listen to anything he had to say. But now, very coldly, she kicked the younger son out. And the younger son came out empty handed. He felt so empty inside. This, that is what the world is. The world is so deceitful. This is what the world is. The world is such a deceitful place. How foolish I was. That woman did not love me but acted as if she did. I fell into the thought she loved me. Our next story is the rich man from the countryside who fell for a prostitute from Pyongyang and pulled out a tooth for her. There was a prostitute in Pyongyang with a very beautiful face. Once, a rich man from the countryside fell for this prostitute. He had an euphoric time with the prostitute. But once he ran out of money, he told her that he was going to return to the countryside and bring back more money. But the prostitute clung to him and said, "No, I cannot live without you. What can I do? We need the money. Let me go sell my land." "Then I need to ask you a favor," she replied. "What is it?" the man asked. "Pull out one of your teeth." "One of my teeth? What are you going to use this for?" "While you are not here, I'm going to miss you so badly. I don't think I can bear it. If you leave your tooth, I will at least be able to look at your tooth and get by." He was so thankful that this prostitute loved him so much that he pulled out a full tooth and gave it to her. The prostitute then washed the tooth clean and wrapped it in the cotton and put it into a pretty little bowl. "Until you return, I will wait for you, looking at this tooth." This rich man from the countryside was so excited that he quickly returned to his home. Not long afterwards, when the rich man returned to Pyongyang, there were rumors already going around that this prostitute was living with another man. "That can't be!" he exclaimed and went to her house. Indeed, she was living with another man. He said to her, "I have returned." She could not even look at him. "How could you do this to me?" he asked. I'm a prostitute, you know, she replied. He became so angry and said, Give me back my tooth. If you go to the storage, there is a whole bucket full of teeth. So you can get yours from there, she replied. When he opened the door and went into the storage, like she said, there was a whole bucket full of teeth. This is a prostitute whose heart flows in the direction of following money. But people fall victim to prostitutes. The younger son also felt that it was wrong to have lost all his wealth, but there was nothing he could do. And for the time being, he had to work in order to eat and live. Because he grew up as a son of a rich family, he had never done anything, so he did not know how to do anything. Then a famine came to the land. Jobs were very hard to come by. He begged from door to door, telling people that he could work hard for them, but they could quickly see that he had no working experience at all. He was looking far and wide for a place to work, and he even went to houses and sincerely begged. Have you herded swine before? Someone asked. No, I have not, but I'll work hard, he replied. This was the only place that was available for him, so he had to at least try it. He would go out to the field and feed hundreds and hundreds of pigs every day. He was so tired from working all day long and he was very hungry. Rather, it was the pigs that looked happy. At night, he could lie down and sleep among the pigs while the moon shone brightly. While looking at the moon, he would think about his hometown. The same moonlight is shining upon my house where my father lives. Is he at peace? Is my older brother doing well? Only then did regret begin to take over the younger son's heart. We'll end our reading here for today, and I believe you learned a lot about the world of the heart. You learned about how the heart flows, and then the 6 levels the heart go through to change. I also believe you had a wonderful time reading together with me. Don't forget, a week without reading weakens the brain. I want to see you in our next reading room and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.